Hi folks, just doing a quick video today on a pair of Hi Tec boots and then show you where I am. I'm in a very interesting place in the US, and you'll see where that is in a minute. You know, Hi Tec, I brought them on this trip because they're light, easy for travel compared to one of my normal sort of army boots. I always find Hi Tec to be very comfortable straight out the box. These are, get the labelling, Icegarth waterproof. They are the waterproof boot in suede, rubber outsole. Basically, it's the first time I'm using them. Picked them up in a sale at Go Outdoors in the UK at Christmas time, just after Christmas and the New Year. And I'm just using them on this trip where I am. So not a lot to say about the Hi Tec boots. They have their own dry lining system called Dry Tec, and they also have some other spray system they use on them as well. But I think it's there's a lot of reviews on Hi Tec out the box, so it's more perhaps when I've done some kilometers or miles on them that I'll be able to report back to you. I'm getting on. But where I am today, ironically, because I've got a pair of boots, is Boot Hill. And this is the original Boot Hill Cemetery in Dodge City, Kansas, where of course you had famous people like White Earp was Deputy Marshal, and Bat Masterson and his brother Ed. And if you've ever watched the films Tombstone or White Earp with Kevin Costner, all those characters are featured there. So this is the original Boot Hill. I think some of the graves were moved, but there's still some here with some, you know, interesting stories behind them. Look, Black Jack, September 1872. And often it was called Boot Hill because if you were killed violently in a gunfight, like this guy was, shot through the head and died instantly, you were buried with your boots on. They buried you so quickly you still had your boots on. So it became Boot Hill. And this is part of the, although this is the original cemetery, there's a museum here which we're looking through, which is very well done. Here's a couple of the, say howdy to the people on YouTube.
Howdy.
Okay, so there's a couple of the reenactors. Okay. They're just setting up their guns because there's going to be a shootout shortly. So I'm going to try and put my boots on as I'm talking to you all. So I'll just take a quick look at the sign here. There we are. And down here is the recreation of what the main street would have looked like in Dodge City in the late 1870s, etc. So you've got things like the Long Branch Saloon, the General Outfitters and other stores. And at 12 o'clock, which is in about 15 minutes from now, they're going to do a Western shootout. So I'll just go back and that's one of the original buildings, which was a hotel originally. So go up the stairs. And up here is another sign about Boot Hill.
Yeah, that's where they used to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, if they need to go potty.
And if they need to go potty, they go in that hole.
I think one of the reasons they put bodies on a hill
Hey, I gotta carry you, Alice.
was that the water would wash down the hill and probably not disturb the bodies. I think that's one of the theories behind it. So, some more here. This is the Fort Dodge Jail in 1865, and here's the original jail, made of wood. So if you've been naughty, this is where they put you, in the cells here. With a hole in there for a toilet. That one's covered up. And we've got a view, obviously we're on the hill here, the highest point. So we've got a view of Dodge, the city. Obviously there's a modern city now. All these buildings are just replicas or reproductions of the original Dodge, because in all these western towns they constantly, because they were made of wood, they were constantly having fires, burning the buildings down until they changed over later on. But at the time we're talking about the late 1870s, early 1880s, they were constantly having fires all the time. So that's Boot Hill, Dodge City. I thought quite a good place to shoot a boot video, albeit my boot video was a bit brief this time on the Hi Tecs, but hopefully you'll find this this part of it as interesting as reviewing the boots. So I'm going to go down now to the reproduction. How you doing?
Pretty good.
Come back for the gunfight.
We got like 15 minutes and we start.
Okay, cheers. So this is the reproduction street again, and you see here it says carrying a firearm strictly prohibited, and perhaps a lot of people don't realise, but in the Old West they actually had an ordinance to stop the cowboys carrying weapons. It's obviously a sensible idea, and then find them or take them off, and we're supposed to check them in. And one of these events that happened here was Ed Masterson, brother of Bat Masterson, was killed just doing that by one of the cowboys. He was actually acquitted, even though he shot him. He'd taken one of these pistols, and then he got a second pistol, a guy called Jack Warner I think, and shot Ed. But you know, the way the West was, perhaps he was then acquitted of that. So here we are from Front Street, Dodge City Museum. There's actually a whole museum here which is with a lot of original artifacts, which is really well done. So this is obviously the main tourist attraction if you ever come into Dodge City, and yeah, well worth doing. Not that expensive, it's like $14 to $16 a person, which is pretty good value. And then in the evenings they do a meal if you want to, and they do another Wild West show. But as I say, there will be a sort of gunfight, reproduction gunfight here shortly. So I'm going to clock off for now, and take care out there.